Welcome to Blind Level Tech. I'm Jonathan Price.
I'm Evan Starnes.
And together, we're bringing you news, tech, and information about blind technologies.
Being blind doesn't mean you have to stop living.
We're going to show you just how possible it is to live the life you want. My son's running around upstairs, and so I was telling him to kindly stop running around.
Stop it.
Oh my goodness. So there's this place, you've been to Gunther Tootie's.
Oh yeah.
So
I love Gunther Tootie's.
Yeah. They have this gigantic cinnamon roll that it's about the circumference of a volleyball. And it's so good. And you want to leave there in a wheelbarrow after you've eaten it. It's so bad for you, but so epically delicious. Yeah. Speaking of epically delicious, how was your Thanksgiving, man? Do you roll out of Thanksgiving?
No, I surprisingly managed to avoid a food coma, which I'm very thankful for, but it was a nice old-fashioned Thanksgiving. No cranberry sauce, though, but everything else, it was delicious. We had a whole staff meeting, and cranberry sauce was a pretty hot topic.
Yeah, we had Matt, what does he do? Why does
our listener services coordinator?
Thank you. He dumped out a can of cranberry sauce on a plate, and our grants writer, Brady, it was his birthday. So he brought Brady, a plate of cranberry sauce into the team meeting, and we just, oh my goodness. And he ate it. He had some of it. And I guess that's one of his favorite things. So, more power to you. I'll Brady, if you listen to this, I'm judging you fully.
Right on. And happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
But it was good. I mean, we had all the usual. My uncle did this really hilarious thing. So after Thanksgiving, after dinner, my aunt had prepared all of these little family games that we could play, like Categories and Family Feud and a bunch of cool little things. It was really, really creative. And my God, it's still for Categories. It still makes me laugh. Me and my cousin partnered up, and we're trying to come up with confusing things for each letter of the alphabet. And I don't know how he did this. All of the things that my uncle came up with were pie related.
Sure.
It was awesome. It was funny. And
okay, so I have to ask, and this is probably a very politically incorrect question, but it's going to be funny. How is it playing Pictionary with somebody who's blind?
Oh, geez. It's not very doable.
No, I
going to be brutally
I can imagine.
honest.
Well, anyway, our Thanksgiving was a lot of fun. The kids actually helped a lot with making the food, and coincidentally enough, because they helped make the food, they ended up eating more of it. So that was awesome. I didn't really have to fight with them when they were eating their food. So it was great. Any interesting conversations around the dinner table that you can actually share, or is this classified events?
No, my family, though, particularly on my dad's side, is very goofy and always fun and never negative, never dramatic at all. So it's when you hang out with with my dad's side of the family, It's always going to be a good time. There was a lot of stress around, just the normal, making sure everything's prepared and ready. And then, once everybody arrived, it was like, we can relax and eat food. And
so we're going to be talking about some mental health stuff today, specifically apps surrounding mental health and kind of how you can do mental health on your own if you are not going to see a counselor. I'm going to recommend always that you try to go see a counselor if you can. If you need somebody to just help you kind of walk through some stuff, that's that's what they're there for. But before we dive into that, we have a show called Blindsight where the host Bill Lundgren and myself talk all things mental health, everything from addiction to abuse to relationships to eating disorders. I mean, we cover the entire gamut. So please go check that show out if you are looking specifically for some good information surrounding mental health and how to cope. We're doing a special series right now. We're in the middle of kind of adapting your mental mindset around the holidays. And we're going to kind of dovetail into that today. And we're going to explain some of the apps that we personally use, myself and both Evan, when it comes to just getting your mental health under control. And there's a few things that I want to take note of before we dive into this. So when you think of mental health, I know this is kind of a weird conversation for a technology podcast, but it's incredibly important because, one, we're on our phones a lot, we're on our computers a lot, and we tend to use those technology devices as a way to quote unquote communicate with the outside world, or fake connections, if you will. And let me tell you right now, if you're trying to create connection with somebody over a device, you're not really creating a connection. So I'm sorry to say that if you feel like, but that's the only way I can communicate. That's the only way I can have connection. I would encourage you to get face-to-face with somebody, a friend, a family member, a counselor, a priest, a religious leader, somebody of that nature who can help you just go through life, especially in the season that we're in. And so there's a couple of things that mental health really helps with. Struggles with anxiety, depression, trauma, managing stress, helps improve your sleep, mindfulness, mood management, overall mental health. Along with it, it actually helps build better community and support. If you are a healthy human being, you can be a better friend, a better spouse, a better community member, a better worker at your job, your place of employment. And so it's important to take your mental health under control, especially if you're a dude, because we as dudes tend to not really think that anything is wrong. We tend to hold everything inside, and we feel like sometimes we're not seen, or we're not heard, or nobody cares, or we're just supposed to take it, rub some dirt on it. The classic macho
pull yourself up by your bootstraps,
exactly,
and all that.
Exactly. And so I'm going to turn it over to Evan, and we have a couple of apps, so we're kind of going to go one for one here. Evan, what is the first app, or what's an app that means a lot to you when it comes to mental health?
Yeah, thank you. So first of all, I do really need to clarify, these apps aren't designed to diagnose or treat any condition. What they're designed to do is help you stay mindful, relaxed, stress-free, which kind of it's similar to relaxed, get better sleep, and really know yourself. They're designed to help you be the best productive person you can be. And so the first app I'm going to talk about is an app I've been using now for a little over about a month now. And its accessibility is a little flaky, I hate to say. It's not the most accessible, but it is workable. But the reason I'm really pointing it out is how great of a service it is. It's called Rise Sleep.
Oh, yeah.
What Rise Sleep does is it will use especially if you have an iPhone, it's really easy. I think I haven't played with I don't know if there's an Android version. And while I use Android on a weekly basis and mess with it, I haven't played with their version of it, if there is one. But what it'll do is take all of your motion and fitness data, so your screen time, your active, how much time you spent in daylight, which is kind of a new feature as of iOS 17, actually. How well you slept, your active hours and all that. Just it'll take all of that, and it will calculate things such as we as people are not, as much as we wish we could be, we're not during the day active constantly. We're not like machines where you can just function.
Right.
We have peaks and we have what they call dips. I call them valleys because it just makes me think of
Yeah.
learning to write. But it will calculate and it'll tell you when your best peaks are. So when would be the time to respond to that email or schedule some meetings or do some very, very heavy tasks.
Cool.
It'll tell you when those are. It will also integrate with your calendar so that rather than just going to the app, you can just check it in your calendar and even schedule events around your peaks and dips. And it'll give you an energy summary. So it'll say like today at 9:30 from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. you are going to be most productive, most likely. And of course, it's not going to tell you what to do. It's not going to dictate your life, but it will help you improve your lifestyle. And it does a lot with sleep. It'll calculate your sleep debt, and it'll tell you how long you should sleep for. And what I like about it is it doesn't give you a specific like solid bedtime. Like it's not like you must go to bed at 10:30 p.m. exactly. It'll give you a nice window, and it calls it the melatonin window. And that for me, for instance, is I want to say 10:25 to 11:05 or something like that. So it gives you a nice little window, and it's like this is when would be the best time for you to fall asleep. This is the best time window you should wake up between. So, mine for instance is I want to say 6:25 to 7:35, which is evidence that I need to stop sleeping in so much.
Yeah.
But so it'll calculate that, and it won't. What I like particularly about this app is it doesn't shame you. It's not. It's strict, but it's also flexible, if that makes sense. So it'll say like, "Hey, watch it. Your sleep debt's a little high. You got over 10 hours of sleep debt." And it'll even give you an energy potential and a percentage. And mine, admittedly, has been hovering around the 40s to 50s, which is stupidly accurate because I've been feeling kind of tired and demotivated lately. And it calculates that based on all of the data that I had just described. Plus it has an Apple Watch app that works really well and will allow you to it does even more enhanced data tracking, like sleep tracking and stuff, because it's got that heart rate element added to it. And speaking of Apple Watches, and it'll calculate your UV exposure and all sorts of stuff more accurately if you have an Apple Watch. And if you like the convenience of it, you can set up a nice little widget on your home screen that'll show you your energy schedule throughout the day.
Yeah, I really like that app. As I was looking at it, it is available for the Google Play Store and the Apple Store.
App Store.
And then there's different levels of purchase. It's free to download, and there are some free elements to it. But if you sign up you can sign up for the year long membership, all the way down from $39.95 all the way up to $70 for the sleep improvement membership, sleep energy premium membership, that is. And so it comes with a lot of tracking, a lot more features than even what we were talking about. And so that's a really good one. I'm going to jump in. And I'm going to go with, I really like this, and you can speak to this app because I think it's in your top ones, the Calm app. And what I like about the Calm app is it's designed for mindfulness. It's a meditation app. I think a lot of people have heard of this app if they haven't already. It's really to help reduce stress by doing music, breathing exercises, sleep stories, relaxation tools. It really helps with if you're in a stressed already environment. It kind of brings you back into center. It kind of calms you down a little bit, which is nice, especially if you're in the middle of your day and you have that 2 p.m. meeting and it's the last meeting of your day and it just goes to hell and you're like, oh no. This really helps calm you down. This is also a good app if you have kids who may be having a hard time getting ready for bed and kind of unwinding. Now, I'm personally not a huge fan of technology before bedtime, so that's just my personal opinion, but it does have a Calm Kids section for meditation and exercises. They've got a ton of lullabies, peaceful sounds, tons of those kid things that really help. Another good thing to add, I'm going to kind of shift a little bit and we'll go back to the Calm app, but things like white noise generators on YouTube or Spotify, Apple Music, things like fireplaces, running water, nature sounds, those things are really, really good for bringing you back into that sense of calm and peace when you can kind of let your mind relax. Evan, let me talk about the price real quick. It starts at about $14.99 a month, goes all the way up to $70 for an annual subscription. So you do save a little bit of money if you pay for the whole year up front. It does feature like master classes. It does have some of those soothing sounds, like I mentioned. I was going through those just a little bit ago. Some exercises, educational guides, things like that. Evan, you use the app quite a bit. What do you think? Tell me more about it.
I love Calm. It is a great app. I had a bad stereotype of meditation apps because I all thought they were that really calming, breathy
Yes.
voice that's a little harsh to listen to sometimes. And the audio is so annoyingly overproduced that it just sounds really clippy. And, it's just like the breathe in, breathe out, move this way, move that way. You're relaxed. Congratulations. But it's not that at all. It's got literally hundreds of different meditation exercises. The soundscapes are huge. So what's cool about the soundscapes is when you open the app, they're going all the time. So whether you got a meditation going or not, or whether you're just looking through the app, that soundscape is running in the background. And what's cool about it is you can adjust the level of it. So if if the crickets or whatever, just a little too loud, you can mix it down. But they have a ton of really high quality stereo, well-produced soundscapes. And the cool part about them is you can't really tell that they're looping either. So it just sounds like a continuous
That's good.
soundscape, which I always have an appreciation for. I've always hated those sound machines where you push the ocean button and you can hear the recording looping every like 5 seconds.
I know.
Can't stand it. Not with Calm. Oops, I just gave another one away. It does also have reminders. So I've got one scheduled at 8 o'clock p.m. every night. And for me, it's like, how are you feeling? Take a moment to check in. And, it's really nice just as a kind of just gentle reminder to fire up the app and just you don't even have to do a breathing exercise, but just, check in with yourself. Make sure you're mentally sound, if you will. And of course, there is an Apple Watch app, which gotta love that. And yes, the app is also definitely available for Android. I think there might even be a smart speaker skill that you can get as well. And I paid for the lifetime, so I really can't speak for pricing, but I'd highly recommend it. Accessibility-wise, very nice and accessible. I've not really run into – I've had some weird issues adjusting the soundscapes sort of. It's a little flaky to try – because you can combine sounds too. You could actually, for instance, have crickets and babbling brook or fireplace and – traffic noises or whatever. I don't know. It's a little wonky, but it's workable. But the pretty much the majority of the app, I definitely say about 9 out of 10 accessible. It's good. You'll definitely enjoy it. And it really has made a nice little improvement on my mental.
Yeah, it's important to take those few minutes. And even if you take what I call living a 15-minute life, and where you block out, not necessarily you schedule every 15 minutes, but it's making sure that every 15 minutes you are focused on living those 15 minutes to the best of your ability. And we fully understand, and you know this as well as I do, and those of you listening out there, that there are times that your 15 minutes may be absolute hell on earth. There may be times that your 15 minutes may be the best 15 minutes ever. You may have played on the stage with Taylor Swift. Who knows? But I know that's a horrible example. I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan. But anyway, but in any case,
good example.
Making sure that your 15 minutes, that if you're just aware just a little bit, a lot of us say that we've had a really bad day. Well, did you have a bad day or did you just have a bad 15 minutes? And we let that 15 minutes affect our mood in a very dramatic way. And so some of these apps can really help. I do want to dive into some of these other apps. I have two of them that are more on the more religious side. So take these with a grain of salt, if you will. One of my favorites is the Bible app. You can just read the Bible. You can, there's a lot of devotionals and studies on that, which is actually has been proven that when you read the Bible app or when you're in any sort of religious activity, it does help your mental state of mind and mental fortitude, which can really be beneficial, especially when you're dealing with just life in general, life circumstances. So that's a good one. And then the other one that I really like is an app called Hallow. And the app Hallow is a prayer and meditation application. And what it does is you're able to follow through with daily prayers, daily meditations, regardless of what religion you may be. There's something really for everybody. It does a lot of that mental mindset and mindfulness stuff. So that's a really good one. It can get a little bit expensive. I don't have the cost right in front of me, but it is an amazing one. So I would highly recommend that. So yeah, Evan, any other apps from you?
So yes, there is an app that I really, 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 really want to highlight. I could do a full episode on this app. I've actually mentioned it before, and it's called Endel.
Yes.
And Endel is what I describe as a soundscapes app. And these soundscapes are so dynamic and well-produced and fluid that I haven't found anything that compares to them. So what it does is it has all of these different little soundscapes you can set for working, relaxing, even moving around or sleeping. And you can set the app to that specific soundscape. So the cool part about it's actually called the focus. I think it's called the focus or study soundscape, for instance, is it's got like a nice little downbeat, like a thump, 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 thump. So it'll get your brain kind of in that little rhythm.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
And then it has, and the melodies are never the same. It's always different. It's like you could listen to it for 8 hours and never hear the same thing.
That's crazy. That's cool.
And you can tune the soundscapes. So if you want it to be a little bit brighter, a little more cheery or a little more dark and mellow sounding, there's a little pad that you can drag your finger around. And it's a little trying to do it with voiceover. I don't know. It's hit or miss, but it will allow you to adjust that sound to your exact liking. What's also cool about the sleep soundscape in particular is besides the fact that it uses what I believe are theta waves, it will actually adjust to the unique sleeping patterns, that we all as humans biologically have. And so it will kind of play if you set the soundscape, it will play a little 5 or 6 note melody. And that 6 note melody, eventually what that'll do is it'll train your brain. It's not classical conditioning, but it'll condition your brain so that when it hears that melody, it associates that melody with, oh, it's time to sleep.
Yep.
So you only really want to have that soundscape on right before and when you're about to go to sleep.
Yes.
Otherwise, it'll mess it up. But it'll basically, it'll train your brain to fall asleep and stay asleep. And it worked. It's weird. I've taken melatonin before. Yeah. It's worked better than any other, like any pill or any tea that I've tried.
Yep.
It knocks me out, and it's almost like my brain goes on pause, and I wake up just refreshed. Now, the cool part, too, is it has, especially for the sleep soundscape, a smart alarm. And what that smart alarm does is it'll keep the same soundscape that you've been listening to go to sleep, and it'll kind of gently make it more exciting. I don't know have other word for it. It'll kind of add more elements. It'll kind of make it a little faster, and it's a nice gradual smart alarm or a gradual way to wake up. And it works. It'll kind of just gently ease you out of sleep, so you're not dealing with that sleep inertia because you know how when you wake up in the morning and you feel that like, oh, I just don't want to get out of bed.
Yep.
And, you feel sluggish and groggy. That's sleep inertia.
Yeah.
So it really does a good job of minimizing that sleep inertia. What I like about the moving soundscape as well is it does a very similar thing to the focus one where it'll kind of give you a beat. So if you're, for instance, for me, if you're cleaning, I'll throw in my AirPods and put this on, and it'll actually, the soundscape will adapt based on your rhythm of walking. And so it'll slowly start to change speed if you walk faster or slower, and it'll kind of just help keep you in that
the body rhythm
and that groove.
Yep. Yeah, I love that it follows the natural rhythm of your body, because every single one of us, just like our fingerprint, has a unique rhythmic signature and a particular harmonic or frequency that our body resonates to. And so this Endel app, Endel, will actually be able to synchronize or kind of listen to your body's own internal clock or your internal rhythms and harmonics, allowing you to, like what Evan said, help you fall asleep better, and help you wake up more gradually and in a less kind of a frantic mode, if you will. Sometimes when our alarms go off, we set the alarm way too loud and we're scared to death when we wake up.
Jump you right out of bed.
Talk about getting woken up. But I do want to go over one little thing when it comes to falling asleep and you don't have any of these apps. One thing that has been really helpful, and I was talking to a sleep therapist about this, when your eyes are closed and your mind is racing and you feel like your eyes aren't tired, but you know your body is, a good technique is to close your eyes and to use your eyes to trace out numbers. So when you close your eyes, you trace the number 1 with your eyes, you trace the number 2, so that your eyes get physically tired. And when your eyes get physically tired, your brain starts to get tired and want to fall asleep. And so usually I count maybe to 12 or 15 and my eyes are exhausted, and then I'm ready to like completely crash. And so that's a really good technique. I'm
doing it in Braille.
Do what?
Right now. I'm doing it in Braille right now.
Nice.
The problem is I keep visualizing number signs.
That's perfect. Yeah. Whatever way you can do, just to get that eye moving and to try, or to even picture either, like in Braille or in print, those numbers to get your mind moving in that particular way. It almost kind of works as a numbing agent to your mind. And so that can be a really good technique. It's worked for me. The last app that I want to talk about, that I want to bring up, is not really an app in and of itself. They do have an app, but the company BetterHelp. And I know a lot of us have seen the BetterHelp advertisement, so I don't want to belabor that to death, but they are a network of clinical psychologists and therapists there to help you, and you get matched with them based on what you're looking for. So if you want somebody who is specialized in family and grief counseling, you can find somebody who is either in your area, either in network, out of network, across the nation. They are fantastic. And I know they have promos running all the time. So hop on there. Therapists are great. I've done it a couple of times, but it's super easy. You can pick your profile. You can pick your counselor, you can pick all those kinds of things that you can do. Some of them have free trials, or some of them will do a free session just to like a get to know you kind of thing. So it can be really beneficial. Evan, what say you?
I am so glad you brought BetterHelp up. I actually am using it right now and have been using it for the past few months. And it is a wonderful service, because if you know, if you want in-person therapy, you're going to have to look elsewhere. I hate to say it, but check out Blindsight. But if you are comfortable with online therapy and you know exactly what you're looking for, what you need help with, it's wonderful. And the onboarding process was perfect. Like, they know exactly who they're dealing with and how to work with them. Because all I did was go to BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com, and immediately I was brought onto this introductory form. And I started to fill out all of the details, your name, your phone number, all that. It'll tell you can get like religious therapy, you can get I don't know if you can get CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, but you can get some really good talk therapy for like I think trauma therapy or oh bloody hell, I don't have all the examples, but whatever you can do online therapy wise.
Yeah, it's really good for the talk therapy, and that's where it really shines. But if you have maybe somebody in your family or you yourself who are facing things like drug or alcohol abuse or addiction, pornography addiction, any sort of addiction, even with eating disorders or what have you, getting in front of a real live person in session face to face is going to be your best way forward, especially with things like trauma. The evolution of the EMDR therapy has been a night and day difference. I know several people, myself included, who have been through EMDR therapy. So the EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. I know that's a huge mouthful. Basically, what it does is it takes a trauma that you have lived as a child and it allows you in a safe way to relive it as an adult with a therapist and coach your younger self through that particular trauma and reframe it into a positive mindset, or to acknowledge it and to reframe it and to kind of move on past that. So it's an amazing technique when it comes to therapy, and I highly recommend it. And I also highly recommend getting, again, in front of a counselor or a therapist or a priest or even a friend right now, especially going into the holidays. This is a kind of dangerous time for a lot of people. And as much as we want to celebrate all the wonderful lights and the cold and the hot chocolate and all the candy canes and life is just this wonderful, happy wonderland, for a lot of people, it's not. And that can be a very dangerous thing, especially if we just kind of gloss over it. And so I personally, and I know Evan and we at AINC feel the same way, we don't want to gloss over anything. There's a lot of people struggling with mental health right now. And sometimes when you're struggling with mental health, you feel like you don't want to talk about it because you're the only one going through it. You may feel like that.
Yeah, you feel alone.
Yeah, well, you're not alone. We are all here in the same boat doing the same thing day in and day out. But the difference is that we have connection. We have the human element. We have relationship, which is wonderful, and it's designed that way. And so I encourage you to reach out to somebody, reach out to a friend, reach out to a family member, reach out to a counselor, get some of that help you need. And if you are, I do want to make this statement. As we're going into the holidays, this is one of the highest times for suicide attempts and suicide, for lack of a better term, successes, especially with men. There are more attempts for women, but there are more successes for men. And so we want to be very cognizant to that. So if you are struggling with suicidal ideation or thoughts of suicide, or somebody, you are worried about somebody, you can call 988, and that is the National Suicide Hotline, where you can talk to somebody immediately and get some of that help that you may be looking for. So those are some really great tech things. Evan, anything to wrap up from you before we get into our favorite topic?
I think you covered it pretty well. But accessibility-wise, I did want to touch on for BetterHelp, particularly. Yeah, it's nice. It's it's a little. It's like 9.5 out of 10 accessible. So there's some flaky areas that you'll have to kind of navigate with a screen reader that aren't. They're not perfect. Sure, but it is 100% workable. You get video and audio sessions with a live with a live therapist, a licensed therapist, of course. Yeah. And you can text them at any time. Like right now, I could whip out my phone. If I was dealing with something, I could text my therapist. And if it was urgent, you can mark it as urgent, and they'll get a message. You can record audio for your therapist if you don't feel comfortable texting, if you need to talk it out. Yeah. And so it's pretty much available when you need it and when your therapist is able to respond. And if you schedule a session, you get up to, I think, 30 minutes of a video session to talk one-on-one with that therapist. It's a fantastic service. I don't want to get into pricing because it's very complicated and it's very dependent on who you are and a bunch of other stuff. So we unfortunately cannot touch on pricing here. Yeah. But that's about it.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed listening and talking about all these apps. It does make me actually feel better to get all of this out and to be talking about this. I just don't want our listeners to feel like, I listen to mental health, but and we at AINC, we have podcasts specifically for those who are going through vision loss and blindness, featuring every aspect of life, whether it be walking through life with navigating life with vision loss stories with Aftersight, which is actually going to be changing their name here in January to The Blind Chick. You have us, BLT, Blind Level Tech. And then you also have Blindsight with Bill Lundgren, who focuses on all of this stuff, mental health, everything, like I said in the beginning, from addiction to relationships and everything in between. With that being said, I'm starting to get a little hungry. And so, Evan, I think it's a perfect time to talk about our Sandwich of the Week. So I'm getting ready to go have some dinner, but I don't know what I'm going to make. Evan, what should I make for dinner? What's a good sandwich I should make?
Are you much of a fan of open-faced sandwiches?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's great, because my sandwich of the week is very appropriate for the post-Thanksgiving. If you got all that leftover turkey lying around, why not make an open-faced turkey and gravy sandwich?
Yes.
And put some mashed potatoes on it. Oh, it's delicious. That's what we had last night.
Are you going to put some cranberry sauce on it?
I don't think so. I think that's a little too sweet for my tastes. But definitely some nice, savory, salty, lovely, buttery mashed potatoes on that bad boy.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good call, man. I'm still kind of reeling. I've had so much turkey over the weekend that I think I'm going to go a different route. I did get some pronghorn or antelope from a friend of mine in the spring. So we really like antelope burgers. And so I take my burger meat, and instead of doing everything on top, so like all the toppings on top of the burger, we do everything in the burger patty. So mushrooms, onions, salt, pepper, all the flavor, all that stuff is actually baked into the meat itself for the burger. And it comes out just bonkers.
Dude,
it's so good. Put a little barbecue sauce on there.
I will pay you for one. Please.
That sounds... pay me, man. Just come on over. You're about 20 minutes away.
All right. Let's do it. Anyway.
Well, man, I have really enjoyed this conversation with you, and I hope you as our listeners have enjoyed this conversation. It's a little bit different than what we have done in the past, but I don't know. It's an important topic. So, Evan, I appreciate you bringing that to my attention and doing this.
Absolutely. I really sincerely hope we gave you guys something to walk away with here. I hope you guys feel empowered. And if you are struggling, know that struggles are not measurable. A struggle is a struggle.
Right.
And whether, it might seem really small to you, but don't compare your struggles to other people's struggles. Reach the heck out.
Yep.
And that's really what I would like to emphasize here at the as we wrap this episode up. If we gave you something to walk away with, or if you have any concerns, questions, comments, or just general feedback for us, we got some good old feedback line and email up here. So you can email feedback@aincolorado.org. That's soon to be feedback@aftersight.org next year. And there's also a telephone number you can call and leave a voicemail for us. Tell us what show you're calling about, and you can ask any questions or just give any general feedback, and we will respond to it. And what is that number again? I do not have it at hand.
Yeah, it's 720-712-8856. And you can reach out. That is a universal voicemail line, so you can reach me, Evan, Penn, Kim, and then Bill as well. So if you have a mental health question, you can absolutely ask it. And if you do ask a question over voicemail and you give us permission, we will be using your voice and your call on the air, and you might be used as a show topic, or at least the question that you have as a topic. So that'd be wonderful. Also, if you're looking for tech advice or tech tips and you have a question for Evan and I, that's a great place to leave a question. Just tell us what it is. Hey, my computer's not working. How do I plug in my computer? Well, you pick it up and you plug it into the wall.
Or what kind of phone should I buy? I'm finally switching from the old, I finally dropped my Motorola Dynatac 800.
Oh my gosh.
From 1984 that doesn't even work anymore. And I'm ready to jump ship and get an iPhone. How do I set it up?
There you go.
Yeah, call us.
That's all right.
Any tech questions.
We can get you through that. And so with all of that being said, man, it has been a fun interview. And man, I'm so thankful for you. Thank you for being here and being my co-host on this show. It's so much fun.
That's a blast. This show is like, I never thought in a million years. And I always tell everybody that's like, oh my God, you got a podcast? I always tell them like, dude, I never thought in a million, quadrillion, quintillion years I'd have a podcast.
Well, now we do. And we're doing really well. So keep sharing our podcast. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating and comment and share it with your friends. It really helps us boost our audience. For Evan Starnes, I'm Jonathan Price, and on behalf of the entire AINC staff and family, don't forget to plug in your devices.
We will see you next week, only on BLT.